Hector Ruiz, the title of your book, Slingshot, refers to Project Slingshot, which was the lawsuit from AMD against Intel. It refers to the David versus Goliath battle in the Bible. Why was this lawsuit, when you were the CEO of AMD, of biblical proportions?
Well, you know, the last thing we wanted to do, frankly, was getting involved in a legal battle with Intel. So if you, those who have the opportunity to read the book will see that we went through a lot of pain and agony trying to figure out a way not to do that. All we wanted to do is to compete fairly, to have the opportunity to create great products. But when all that seemed not to pay off, we felt that we had no choice, that it was important to stop what we believe was an abusive behavior on the part of Intel. And so we had to file a lawsuit. The question you ask is, why is it of biblical proportions? From what I can tell, and to the best of my knowledge, is the largest antitrust suit ever in the world. When you look at the fact that the Japanese went against Intel, the South Koreans went against Intel, the European Union went against Intel, the state of New York filed a suit against Intel, and then eventually the FTC ended up also going after Intel. When you add all that up, and you add the fact that they paid $1.25 billion to AMD as a settlement, and over $1 billion in fines in the European Union, and all those things, there has never been anything like that in the history of antitrust litigation. So for that reason, I think it was really biblical proportions.
Well, we'll get to the settlement in a second. Let's start off by wondering if it was a fair fight. How did AMD match up against Intel during this period?
Well, you know, fairness is kind of an interesting word. To me, fairness means, in the world of commerce and business, is to be able to compete by creating products or services that really are compelling for the consumer or the customer. And if you can win their minds and wallets with that, great. That's what capitalism is, and that's what the American dream is based on. But when things interfere with that in the normal process of marketing, there's a level of unfairness. And I don't even want to get into what's legal and not legal. It's just the level of unfairness that keeps you from earning what you deserve as a result of creating great products.
So how did Intel play unfairly? What were their dirty tricks? And do you think it came from the top?
Well, you know, at the end of the day, as it is the case with any institution, whether it's the church or university or a company, is the top has to take responsibility for what goes on. And the reason we felt that it was an unfair play is when you look at all of the, like I said before, when you look at all these people that didn't like the way Intel was behaving in their markets, is as the old saying goes, you know, when 10,000 people call you a bad name, then you really should listen. And so I think that you know, we'll get to it if you'd like, and explain the fact that the products AMD created in the mid-2000s were so superior to what Intel had, and still AMD was not able to earn their fair share of the market.
So if you had better products, why was it upon you to sue Intel? Why didn't the government see this? Because clearly Intel, I think, had over 80% of the market and was clearly throwing its weight around. Where was the government? Where were the trust busters?
Well, around the world, as we mentioned earlier, they were pretty active. You know, Japan went after them, South Korea went after them, the European Union went after them. It was only in the U.S. where we had a challenge. Remember, in the 2000s, if you look at that time frame, that was a fairly you know, heavy-duty Republican administration who has a different ideology about antitrust than other folks do. And I'm not saying one is bad or one is good or different. It's just different. And their view was, you know, over time the marketplace is healthy and eventually it'll take care of itself. What I think that failed to frankly understand is that in technology, when you talk about a 6 months problem or a year, I mean, that's fatal. You lose that cycle of design wins, or you lose that, you're dead. And so you don't have that opportunity for, quote, the market to take care of itself.
Well, for a while now, Intel stock has been dead money. The chips it's using, as well as AMD, that go into PCs, that market is declining. What's your view of the PC market right now?
Well, you know, the PC market, as we have defined it in the past, of course, is stalled. It's not growing, and then some people actually feel it's going to decline. But if you think more of it, computing technology in the hands of users, whether you call it a tablet or a phone, what's happening is this is fragmenting tremendously. And I used to be a person that carried a laptop, a phone, and other devices with me. I don't anymore. I just carry a tablet, and for the things I do, that's enough. I can actually make phone calls with my tablet. So I think that world is changing so rapidly, and the computing technology is still at the foundation of it. We don't call it PCs, but really it is the foundation of all those products.